Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Coming up today on GVTV, a sweet way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, plus when to catch all the basketball action for this month. All that and more on GVTV. Good morning, Gators. I'm Justine Matoto, and today is Wednesday. Today is March 17th, which means it is an A day. Make sure to head to all of your odd classes. Then tomorrow is a B day. That means go to all of your even classes tomorrow. And don't forget, Gators, today is the last day left to take school pictures. To take school pictures, you must sign up for a time and adhere to all safety guidelines. A dress code will be enforced. If you have already submitted a photo for the yearbook, you can still come and get a picture taken and choose which picture you would prefer to use. And we are kicking off the fourth quarter. If you need any help, Gatorade is always here. Head to Gatorade's Instagram or website with any questions you may have, or attend their scheduled meets. Today there are 2 scheduled meets for Algebra 2 and AB Calculus. Check out their website for meeting links as well. In sports news, basketball is getting intense, of course because it's March. The Jazz beat the Celtics with a score of 117-109, and the Heat beat the Cavs with a score of 113-98. All teams play again this Friday. And tomorrow the big March basketball games tip off. The first 4 games start out the tournament. Be sure to keep tuning into GVTV every day for game updates. Before we go, today is St. Patrick's Day. I hope you got your green on because Krispy Kreme is giving out free donuts if you are. In honor of St. Patrick's Day, Krispy Kreme has brought back its green glazed donuts. The offer ends after tomorrow, but don't worry. If you missed the offer, there are still many other Krispy Kreme seasonal offerings that will last through the month. Well, Gators, that's all the news we have for you today. I'm Justine, and you're watching GVTV. And now, a brief message from our principal, Mr. Roberts.
Good morning, Gators. The subject of today's story grew up in a modest upbringing in a small town in England, raised by a distant father and a mother who suffered from multiple sclerosis. This led to a more difficult than normal upbringing. Her teenage years were a somewhat difficult period, although she managed to do pretty well in school. She did graduate, was even accepted to college, and finished, having done fairly well. However, after she left college, things took a turn for the worse. Her mother died just 2 years after her graduation. She married a year later, subsequently suffered a miscarriage before giving birth to her first child. Despite that happy note, her marriage ended in divorce just over a year later due to the fact that she had been the victim of domestic abuse by her then husband. At this point, she became unemployed, signed up for government benefits in order to feed herself and her daughter. She fell into a long period of depression and even contemplated suicide once. She has since described that period in her life by saying that she was as poor as a person could be without being homeless. But then she got a spark of inspiration and decided to start writing. Now, I've mentioned in these messages before that writing about your thoughts, feelings, and experiences can be very cathartic or healing, at the very least, and possibly turn into something bigger at the very most. Our author used her own experiences to drive her writing, and eventually she finished a manuscript which she showed to a friend to give their opinion. The friend responded enthusiastically, and this now author found an agent to represent her. Her literary agent sent the completed manuscript to 12 publishers, all of which rejected it. Only when an editor at a London publishing house showed the first chapter to his 8-year-old daughter did the manuscript gain traction. In 1997, just 11 years after completing high school, her first book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was published, and the rest is history. The Harry Potter series of books has since sold over 500 million copies and made its author, J.K. Rowling, a multimillionaire. I've used this quote before, but I think it's worth repeating now. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Miss Rowling has certainly suffered some wounds in her life and was able to convert them into the stories about a teenage wizard and his friends that have inspired millions of children to learn to read. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that your bad days are going to somehow turn you into a millionaire. My point is simply that, however dark your days get, that there's always a reason to believe in yourself and that there are better days ahead. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other, day after day. After all, the only way to climb out of a hole is to take that first step and see what happens next. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for listening. Have a great day, and remember, you got this.